everyone, this is Miyoko and welcome to my Art Heart Monday series. This is my bi-weekly vlog that covers various topics about my personal art journey and experiences. For everyone new to the channel, welcome, and for everyone who has been following me, I'm really glad to have you back. Yay! So today I wanted to talk about art studies. I've listened to a lot of artists sort of talk on a high level on what it means to do an art study, but I haven't really found it that super helpful. And by high explanation, I mean that people explain it on a very general sort of base. For example, a lot of artists just say, sit down and draw the things around you, which is true, but the details of maybe what you need to focus on or what you need to do are kind of lost, and so I wanted to touch a little bit on that today. The following explanation is based on my own experience with art studies. Everyone learns differently, so what I'm saying may not apply to your own learning style or what you'll actually experience, and I'm also not featuring the studies that I did, so I'm sorry if the speed paint doesn't quite match what I'm talking about. Anyway, for me, art studies is really having an intent to draw something that I'm not comfortable with or something that I want to learn more about and understand the object that I'm studying. For example, I recently did a study on tigers. Animals in general have always been a weak point for me, so I just sat down one day and I was like, alright, let's just draw some tigers. So starting this experience normally it's different for everyone. For me, I normally start by looking at photos online and just choosing a picture what I think would be just barely out of my comfort zone. And with the focus mainly being on something that you probably can draw and it won't look super great, but it's still within your ability. So for example, I might choose a photo that majorly features just a tiger's resting face. If I choose a picture that's way beyond my ability, like a tiger leaping and roaring at the same time, I know that my motivation would be really low after a while because the pose and everything was just too intense. I really recommend choosing something that interests you, but isn't so difficult that you struggle with various aspects. For example, I already struggle with just trying to draw a tiger. So drawing a tiger that's doing a complicated pose and facial expression would only deter me from practicing. So you can always choose to add more difficulty as you study, but overwhelming yourself in the beginning might actually hinder your motivation. And the first time you draw something, it's okay to struggle. And I think a lot of artists cover this, but if you're struggling, just know that the moment that you start learning something, that's going to be the moment that you really learn the most. So don't lose hope. You are actually learning by struggling through all of this. So when I start my art studies, I draw shapes. I just draw the basic shapes. So for a tiger, the head, the ears, and the snout. And I just keep drawing shapes until I finally get an amalgamation of shapes that kind of looks like the picture I'm looking at. And then after I find those shapes, I redraw them a couple more times just for muscle memory, and then commit myself to trying to recreate the image. I draw the shapes a couple times just because one, I think it really helps with the muscle memory, like I said before, and two, if I draw on just the one copy and I mess up and I lose the shapes for whatever reason because my mind forgets things easily, I'll have other things that I can still reference. And if you're finding a lot of trouble with figuring out the shapes, I really recommend looking at pictures of anatomy. And I think it's really dependent on everyone and how your brain works. I know a lot of artists recommend looking at skeletal at the skeleton. Right now, I feel like where I'm at, looking at the skeleton only really confuses me more. So right now, I normally look at the shapes created by muscles. So the muscles themselves actually kind of create shapes. So if I have trouble figuring out how should I draw, how should I make it look like this tiger has a realistic rib cage? And so by looking at the muscle, you kind of see how everything is sort of shaped together, and the muscles themselves are big generic shapes. So I really supplement my drawings in that way. And I actually recommend DeviantArt for a lot of anatomy tutorials. So you will kind of go through a lot of bad tutorials, but once you find a really good one, they tend to provide you with like a lot of information on details that you may not notice right away. And studies themselves don't even have to be like a really long time, depending on what you consider a long amount of time. So if you just really hunker down and focus, I mean, like an hour or two of dedicated art study will really show you some improvement. Those are normally how long my art studies are, because I can't focus after an hour or two, and I don't want to push myself. Just really do what feels natural to you. But I mean, like, as long as you just sit down and really dedicate yourself to just like look and to study, I think you'll find that like what you started with is okay, but what you end up with and the knowledge that you have at the end of your study, like you will feel very great. Like after my tiger study, I was like, maybe I do understand. I don't understand, but I understand a little bit more than I used to. So in my opinion, art studies are really about learning what makes up your subject and just how to recreate that on paper. Because everyone learns differently, I think artists tend to reach different points in different timelines, like different points at different times. So if you find that one way doesn't work for you, like if you're looking at like photographs and you're like, I can't get the shape, even if I look at the same tiger and they took like 600 pictures 360, I still don't get it, then try doing something else, like go and see the object in real life, or watch online tutorials, or just try a lot of different things, because it's really about finding a technique and a method that works for you. So once you find that, just stick with it and then keep doing it until it doesn't work. Then you just, recycle through everything and then try it again. So what do you normally do for your art studies? Do you have any good tips for others who have trouble studying, or do you do something that I didn't mention in the video today? Let's all help each other move forward in our art journeys. So I'll be really excited to read your comments. Keep doing your best, and I'll see you next time!